Oh my god. Wow. Thank you. Now I feel stupid as fuck. Now I feel dumb as hell. Yo, thank you, uh, the MNSXD. My mic was muted. See, I forgot. I got a phone call yesterday and I muted the mic, but I forgot to unmute the mic. So now I'm sitting here talking and talking and talking and saying nothing. So, I did all that talking for nothing. So, I guess I need to just start the fuck over. Alright, let's just pretend like that never happened and start over, okay? Ugh. Ugh. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy, the Ultimate Rage, coming back with yet another live here in the No Cap Zone, where we have a strict dress code. Now get the hell off with that capping ass bullshit. The only kind of cap that's allowed around these parts is your thinking cap, otherwise you gotta move around. Because around these parts, all we care about are the facts, the truth, the data, the information, the statistics, things that can actually be demonstrated in real life, in real time, while we're sane, while we're alive, because all we care about are the facts, the truth, the data, the information, the statistics. If you can't demonstrate that, I have no idea. I just don't have any clue what the hell you're talking about. And to tell you the truth, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's why we gotta talk about it. That's why we gotta talk about it. So, my bad. Thank you for helping me realize I was talking to not a goddamn person because my mic was muted. So, that's why I fuck with y'all. Because without y'all, I would have been doing all of this for nothing. I would have sat here and talked for hours and hours and hours, and nobody would have been able to hear a thing. I would have wasted the whole damn day. So thank you so much for helping me realize, oh, I forgot to unmute my mic. But we here, and we doing it. So, so hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn on the notifications, hit the website, come through to the Discord. We got some big things on the horizon. We're about to change the fucking world. Because, see, here's the thing. What we have an issue with in our society is this fact right here. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. So that's why I always ask, what are we doing? What exactly are we doing as a human race, as Americans, as earthlings, as conscious beings? What exactly are we doing? What are we hoping to accomplish? What are our goals? What are our aims? In the grand scheme of reality, in the grand scheme of all of time, when it's all said and done, what are the things that we are actually yearning and hoping and seeking to accomplish? We don't have these conversations. Too many people are caught up in the rigmarole of everyday life, being bombarded at all times with all kinds of propaganda, all kinds of nonsense, all kinds of bullshit, all kinds of sci-fi fantasy cockamamie garbage, and at the end of the day, it is way too difficult for people to realize what exactly we are actually hoping to accomplish. And so that is why I say all the time, I have no problem exclaiming to the world that I am an atheist and an anti-theist. I am not only not religious, but it is my belief that theism is the greatest, longest running sci-fi fantasy MLM scam in the history of humanity. And I have a bunch of reasons as to why. But the main one is that not a single theist, despite the fact that there are billions of theists all over the world, despite the fact that they have existed for so long. I mean, theism has been around for thousands of years. Billions upon billions of people over the course of that time have subscribed to these ideas, including right now, where damn near half of the world subscribes to some form of theism. And despite this fact, not a single theist, one single time, can demonstrate a single shred of theism to be true in any tangible, meaningful way. If they could, it is my belief that they would, because why would you not? If you really truly believe you have the truth, then it should not be difficult for you to demonstrate it to someone like me, a person who I would say is a pretty reasonable person. I'm not somebody who just is just dismisses truth and facts because they didn't make me feel good. I'm not like that. In fact, I personally don't give a fuck how any of y'all feel. I mean, I care how you feel in terms of your well-being, right? I hope that you're feeling okay as a person living life. But in terms of your emotional appeals, I don't give a fuck. I don't care how you feel about this, that. Because unless you can demonstrate that it is accurate, unless you can demonstrate that it is true, that it is real, that it is sensible, that it is replicatable or replicable, whatever the word is, as long as you can demonstrate that it actually comports with the reality that we share and inhabit, if you can do that, cool. Like, I'm not a stickler. If you can make a great case for whatever you claim, what can I say other than, wow, that was really compelling? The problem is that theists fail so miserably to come up with anything even remotely close to even somewhat decently, any way, 1% compelling. They do a lot of yelling. Oh yeah, they do a lot of yelling. They do a lot of talking. They say and say and say a lot of stuff. They say all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. They never demonstrate any of it, though. They say these things like, oh, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you could move mountains. I've never seen anybody with faith move a goddamn thing ever. Never. Not with faith. Not with faith. Because if they could, they would. Somebody like me who was formerly a Christian would still be a Christian because I would be using my faith to move all kinds of mountains, let alone other things. But what we see is that theists never demonstrate a single shred of any of the stuff that they're talking about. That's why we have all these problems in our society, because the fact of the matter is that theists have failed miserably to make a real solid case for their ideology. If they could do it, then what is stopping them? There's so many of them. They are in every single facet of society. They are in literally every single position of government, every single possible position. The President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, the Secretary of State, the whole damn fucking cabinet, the Supreme Court, Congress, local state reps and senators and fucking aldermen down to the regular everyday Joe Schmo working at the Save-A-Lot. I'm talking about theists, particularly Christians here in America, are hyper represented. I mean super duper represented. I was saying it yesterday. I can't even watch the NBA finals without being bombarded with some kind of religious fucking bullshit. I mean literally. I'm literally watching the NBA finals, right? Because, you know, Game 1 was in San Antonio. Game 2 tonight is in San Antonio. And they keep showing these hoe-ass nuns that are in the skybox, right? And now, I don't know if you know this, but the skybox pretty fucking expensive. You don't just get into the skybox. You don't just walk up and say, hey, I got $14.32 and I get a seat in the skybox. No, you gotta have thousands of dollars, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, might even be millions of dollars, okay? That's how, as a matter of fact, we can look it up. We can look it up because they released this the other day. I just want to see this real quick. How much are skybox tickets in the finals? Let me see if they have the price available. Just, you know, to show us what that would look like. Because I'm a very data-driven person. So I'm going to pull up this article and see if they list any of the prices. So check this out. So this is from Yahoo Sports, alright? They said, if Fans hoping to secure one of the 18,418 seats inside Frostbank Center can snag a spot through the venue's third-party operator, Ticketmaster, with the cheapest available option for a single balcony-level seat in the 200 section at $969.21 as of the time of publication. This was 4 days ago, by the way. The best and most expensive ticket left available at the Spurs Arena is in the first row of the Ledger Courtside Club with the price of $48,400 and the caveat of the no rival team gear allowed to be worn in the section, okay? And then it says in the Garden, the secondary market for the first New York home game hovers around $4,000 and up for one seat on multiple sites, including Game Time and Vivid seats. It's not showing me what the Skybox costs, so let me see if I can find something that just shows what that would cost. I said Skybox ticket. I should say Skybox price. God damn it. Trying to see if they show the price, because I need to know what the price is. It's pissing me off. Fuck it. How about if I just say NBA Skybox price? NBA Skybox price. What is the price for the Skybox? You see what we gotta deal with? Like, it's always so difficult to find certain pieces of information. Why is this so fucking hard to find? I mean, shouldn't this be publicly available information? Why can't I just find out what the price of the Skybox is? Somebody help me out. Maybe I should go to Google. Maybe their fucking search engine will be better. I'm trying to make a point here. Alright? Oh my god. Alright. Fuck. It says NBA Arena Skybox or Luxury Suite. Rentals typically cost between $2,000 and $20,000 per game. And I'm sure that does not include the NBA Finals, but that was the point. See, I wanted to get the actual number so that we can be clear on what that means. Because, okay, these women, these nuns, are at the game in San Antonio in the Skybox. As you can see, the price, at least from what we found on Google, is $2,000 to $20,000 per game. Now, I find it very strange that these women are spending all this money to go to a finals game, but what are they actually doing for society? What do nuns actually do? That's the thing I've been trying to figure out. Matter of fact, what exactly does the church do? What do these Catholic fucks actually do? Because this is the difficult problem that we have in society, getting these theists to show us what they actually do, what they actually contribute to society. Because all I see is a bunch of destruction and chaos everywhere, and these loonies not giving a fuck because they feel like they're gonna go to super duper happy-go-lucky land one day. They really, really believe that they're gonna go to some super duper happy-go-lucky place. And so, anywho, we'll get into that more. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that we cannot do regular things without these theists making their theism super duper important and throwing it in our face. All these people in the media forcing us to have to look at their sci-fi fantasy fucking bullshit. Meanwhile, people like Nancy Guthrie still missing. Despite the supernatural, super ultimate super thing that supposedly has all the knowledge, which means it would know the knowledge of where she can be found, but it just is not forthcoming for some reason, despite the fact that all these theists supposedly have a direct connection to this thing. Not to mention all of the people who have gone missing throughout all of history. But that's neither here nor there. But look, let's get back to the topic at hand. So, Trump, right? Trumpity Trump. This is the article. So I had another article up, but they kind of updated it so I couldn't use it. Newsweek, this is from a couple of days ago. This is what I was starting to talk about yesterday. 4 Republicans rebuke Trump as House passes Iran war powers resolution. Now, as many of you know, I'm an anti-theist. I do not subscribe to theism at all. I am an anti-theist because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just making it up as they go along. They just go with the flow. They just go with what they feel. It's all about their feelings, right? They claim that they have this direct connection to this ultra intelligence, yet for some reason none of these people who make these claims can come together and actually make sense of things. They can't come together and have an actual like solidified group, unless it comes to like being against abortion or something. Outside of little things like that, these wedge issues that for some reason a lot of them agree with, for some reason most of them don't know what the hell they're talking about. They just make up stuff, and a lot of this stuff that they make up goes against their own lore. It goes against their own lore. The other like I want to say a week ago, I did a live where I talked about abortion. All these anti-abortionists got in my fucking comment section saying all this stuff, making all these arguments that I never made, arguing straw men all day. They didn't even bother to actually watch the video. They just reacted to the title and repeated the same stupid shit they always fucking say. They didn't engage with any of the content that was actually present in the video. They didn't even address the section where I describe how their own lore disagrees with their own position. Their own lore. Because, you know, most anti-abortionists are Christians, super duper Christy Christians, super duper conservative Christians, and yet I'm showing them a passage in the Bible where it says the Lord is like, kill the babies. So I don't even understand why they're anti-abortion if they're against killing babies, but their own super duper deity according to their lore is like, no, go over there and kill babies. That I don't understand your position of even your own super deity thing that seems to be cool with it. So what are y'all talking about? There is no passage in the Bible that explicitly forbids, that explicitly condemns abortion or infanticide, let alone child murder. Not one. You can tell me whatever the hell you want, but unless you actually can point me to the passage where it says, the Lord saith, killing children is wrongeth, you can miss me all that, and I'll give you a hint, it's not in there. According to your own lore, it's not in there. So I don't even know why you even have this position. But whatever, right? Like, I'm not trying to get caught up on that again. The fact of the matter is that these people, they have these ideas. They come up with these cockamamie ideas. And it's all emotion-based. None of it is fact-based. None of it is logical. And they never connect it with facts and data, information, statistics. It's all about their emotions. That's why, despite the fact that so many of these people come together and have all these different groups and all these different entities, you know, whatever, they have all these resources, they still have not been able to figure out a real solution that would suit everybody because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So, I wanted to show this article, basically highlighting how the president started this war in Iran for some weird-ass reason. And what does it say? The House on Wednesday passed a war powers resolution aimed at curbing President Donald Trump's military action in Iran, approving the measure 215 to 208. The vote, which saw 4 Republicans, these fucking loonies, they joined Democrats, which marks the first time the chamber has moved to force an end to the conflict without congressional authorization. House Speaker Mike Johnson had moved to block a vote that would highlight growing opposition to the war, abruptly halting floor action 2 weeks ago when the War Powers resolution appeared poised to pass. In an email response to Newsweek, a White House official said the measures passed largely due to 18 Republican absences and said there have already been multiple War Powers votes in Congress. So here's my thing. War is a pretty important fucking topic, okay? It's not something that you take lightly just on a whim. right? These are not the type of things that you engage in because you had a feeling, that you heard a voice that told you that you should engage in this kind of crazy ass behavior. You should be actually like using logic, reason, fact-based evidence, using the data that you have available to you. What is the fucking point of having these intelligence agencies if you're still gonna be stupid as fuck? They're called intelligence agencies. Their goal is gathering intelligence, and you're choosing to be stupid as fuck and be like, nah, we're just gonna dismiss intelligence. We're just gonna do dumbass sci-fi fantasy dumb shit because I felt like that was the right thing to do. I heard that there was the super duper thing that talked to me in my sleep and it told me this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that. And so therefore, I'm just going to do this dumbass bullshit for no fucking reason. Why the hell would you do that, dude? Why are you doing this type of shit? How the hell did you even get in this position? I mean, and this is one of the reasons why I have a huge problem with the fucking Democrats. Because y'all can say how dumb and goofy and stupid and dumb and goofy and stupid and he's so evil and this and that and the third. But imagine the fact that you idiots lost to that dumbass twice. What the fuck does that say about you idiots? Oh, right, you're idiots. That's why I always talk about y'all. That's why I be condemning Democrats on the constant basis, because I got another article to talk about with you dumbass Democrats and why y'all always ruin your own you always shoot yourself in the foot every single time. You always ruin yourself every single time, and you demonstrate why you lose all the time to these loonies. But anyway, let's continue with the article. The vote comes amid growing unease on Capitol Hill over the Iran war, a military campaign launched in February without congressional approval, highlighting a broader constitutional clash over whether the president or Congress should decide when the United States goes to war. Well, I mean, it shouldn't be a clash. I mean, we have this thing called the Constitution, I thought. You know, the Constitution, the United States Constitution. You know what I'm saying? The Constitution of the United States of America. Like, I thought that it, like, literally, like, has passages about this stuff that literally talks about this kind of shit. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Because, let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Civil rights, about abolition of slavery, election of the president, judicial powers, rights retained by the people, rights to a fair trial. So here's what I'm gonna do, because I'm sure it's in here. And some of y'all might know better than me. And I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but we do this shit live. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not somebody who claims to know everything. So, I don't just do shit all super, like, professional and all that. Let's see, Article 1, Section 8. Okay, so Article 1, Section 8. Okay, so this is what it says. God damn it. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. This is for Congress. So these are rules for Congress. It says, because it starts off section 8 by saying, the Congress shall have power. And so then all of these things on the list. So it's a bunch of things listed. So these are all the things that Congress is allowed to do according to the Constitution. Okay, so it says it right here. So mark that down for future reference. Article 1, Section 8 has to do with war powers. And it specifically says here that Congress has the ability to declare war. Now, there's this thing called the War Powers Resolution of 1973. Let's check that out. See, this is what we do, okay? We do research. We're not like all these other fucking goofies, all these idiots in politics. We're not like these talking heads, okay? We actually do our homework here. Okay, we actually follow the data, you know, and it might not be the most entertaining, interesting thing in the fucking world because, hey, we're doing it live. We're not like super duper, like highly professional, highly paid, highly fucking produced people. It's just me. It's me and y'all. We're together in this. So we're learning this shit together. I don't claim to know everything. This is why I do this shit. Because if I knew this shit, I'd have just took you straight to the shit. Right? But we're learning together. Some of y'all might already know some of this shit. I don't know everything, and nor would I ever pretend to, but check it out. So it says right here, the War Powers Act of 1973 is a U.S. federal law that limits the president's ability to commit the country to armed conflict without Congress's approval, requiring the president to notify Congress within 48 hours of military action and withdraw forces after 60 days unless authorized by Congress. It was enacted over President Nixon's veto on November 7, 1973, to reassert Congress's constitutional authority over war-making decisions. Okay, so let's see. If we go to more, let's see. Da 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 da. Design the blah 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 blah. So, War Powers Act violations. See, now you see what happens. Now, like, this is how propaganda works, y'all. This is how the bullshit works. I need you to be clear about this. It says right here, the War Powers Act has been violated by various presidents since its enactment in 1973, with notable instances including military actions in Libya and Kosovo without congressional approval. Despite these violations, no legal actions have successfully held a president accountable for such actions. So, this is why it's so important to say these things. This is why it's important for us to have these conversations. Because we just looked it up, but they ain't name a single name. They didn't name a single name. They gave you hints because of these the names Libya and Kosovo, so you could kind of guess who they might refer to if you are a political wonk like me. But if you're not, if you're just somebody who is a casual, first of all, you probably wouldn't be looking this shit up. But if you didn't do your due diligence, you probably wouldn't know who it was being referred to. But see, the mere fact that they don't name a name lets you know that it's been violated by pretty much all of them. It's been violated by pretty much all of them on both sides of the political aisle. Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat, Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat. So as an example, right? And I don't even know this because I'm a political wonk. I just remember certain things from when I was a youngin', right? When I was a young child in the 90s, right? I remember vaguely seeing things about Kosovo and how these things were like not good. In fact, I remember precisely when Kosovo was happening that on one of the days where it was like a major strike or whatever was the same day that Columbine happened. I remember that vividly, that it was like Columbine kind of took attention away from the Kosovo conflict because the Columbine situation was obviously Columbine, right? So it's obvious who was president at the time, President Bill fucking Clinton, which means that he engaged in violating the War Powers Act with this fucking Kosovo shit. So obviously, you can say the same thing about Trump with this Iran shit. And you can say the same thing about Obama with this Libya shit. And you can say the same thing about Bush with goddamn everything. With damn near every fucking thing. So the point of the matter is, presidents violate the goddamn fucking Constitution all the fucking time. They violate their own fucking laws all the fucking time. They're supposed to be following the law. They're supposed to be the lawmakers. Why are we allowing people to make laws that can't even follow their own laws? The laws that are in place right now. They violate these laws on a regular fucking basis. And they count on you being an idiotic buffoon, a fucking ignorant goofy who doesn't do your due diligence to not know any better. So that's why I am here to tell you, to inform you, that this is the way business has been done for a long time. This has been par for the course for decades. And so it doesn't matter which of the two parties are in office. This is the shit that they do on a constant basis. And they make it difficult for us to talk about it, because why would they ever mention any of this? I mean, on any major mainstream platform, when have you ever seen a single one of these fucking talking heads mention the War Powers Act at all? When do you ever see them actually talking about each president violating the War Powers Act? When do you see them even mention the War Powers Act ever? Ever. It's not like they don't have the same access to the internet that we do. It's not like they don't have way more resources, way more research teams and all this type of shit to ensure that they're always making sure that they're keeping up with all the context and all the data and information and history and all that type of shit. That's how you know they are full of shit. Because how is it that little old me here in Southside Chicago in my mom's basement is giving you more substance than these fucking talking heads on these major multimedia, multi-billion-dollar platforms? How is that possible? Why don't they mention this shit at all? Why is this not being brought up by every single fucking goddamn talking head, every single journalist that cares so much about journalistic integrity and all that bullshit that they always pretend that they care about? Where are they at? Where are they at? Where exactly are they at? Where exactly are they at? Talking about any of this shit at all? Bringing it up, making it front and center, front page, being like, hey, violation of a major fucking act. And why haven't they been doing it this whole entire time? All these past decades, when all these presidents were doing the same fucking shit. Why is it that it's never talked about hardly ever? Why is it that I gotta talk about it? And then when I talk about it, they shutting me down when I talk about it. I keep saying, the reason why I'm here on YouTube is because they shut me the fuck down on fucking TikTok. Because when I was on TikTok talking about this shit, we was doing numbers. We was doing it big. We were on our way to actually becoming somebody, potentially. But they put the kibosh on that shit because we're discussing facts that they don't want you to know. And not only that, but they engaged in the Orwellian bullshit by telling you that I was being misinforming. I was misinforming y'all. I was actually failing to inform you all of the truth, even though this shit is publicly available information, even though this data that I am showing you, you can find right now. You can Google this shit yourself. You can look up War Powers Act of 1973. This is you. If you have a cell phone, if you have a laptop, if you have a fucking a goddamn tablet, if you have any kind of device with internet access, you can look this shit up. This is not difficult to do. This is why we call out the failures of journalists, the failures of these talking heads, the failures of influencers and content creators, because they always love to talk like they're so fair and balanced and they're so fucking informative and so intelligent, all this fucking bullshit. This is how they manipulate y'all. They don't do what we do. Because they're part of the machine, they're gonna do what they're told. They're not going to provide you with accurate context. Sometimes here or there they might provide you with some context, but it's always for a specific agenda to help whoever the fuck they're covering for. But for the most part, they're not going to be objective about the facts and the data. They're not going to give you all of the relevant information and details. You have to do your due diligence yourself, because otherwise these fucks are only going to give you half the story, if that. If that. So, one of the problems that I have about Trump and all the bullshit that he does is not just the fact that he does it, but how he reached this position where he is doing it. Because I tell people all the time, or should I say I ask them all the time, how the hell do you think we got here? How did we get here? How did we get here? Because check it out. Now we click the more button. The more button is where you're going to get more context. And that's what I appreciate about this. But I don't appreciate how if you just did a quick Google search for this stuff, if you just did a quick, like we did, War Powers Act violations, you just looked at this headline. If you didn't click the more button, you would just sit there and be like, well, I guess president's violated. But once we look further, we actually get actual names in specific situations. So let's look at it real quick. Overview of the War Powers Act. The War Powers Act, enacted in 1973, aims to limit the U.S. president's ability to engage in military actions without congressional approval. It requires the president to notify Congress within 48 hours of committing armed forces and restricts military engagement to 60 days without congressional authorization. Notable violations of the War Powers Act. Several presidents have been accused of violating the War Powers Act by engaging in military actions without seeking congressional approval. Key instances include Bill Clinton, Kosovo, like I was saying, continued bombing campaign beyond the 60-day limit, arguing funding implied authorization. George W. Bush, the Iraq War, the biggest scandal in my fucking lifetime, sought congressional support but maintained that his actions were constitutional. Of course, they always say the fucking same shit. Barack Obama, Libya, like I said earlier, engaged in military operations without congressional approval, leading to bipartisan criticism, as they should. But it's always the same shit with these fucks. And now we got Trump with Iran. So this is why I always tell y'all, both parties have engaged in this action. And so these are the things that we have dealt with, that we have lived through. And nobody talks about it. Nobody's even thinking about holding these fools accountable. And if anybody does bring it up in the conversation, motherfuckers get shut down, motherfuckers get suppressed, motherfuckers get censored. And the talking heads continue talking like nothing happened. They continue talking about whatever bullshit they be talking about. They talk about the midterms without talking about the importance of these kinds of topics. And it makes it difficult for us to have real conversations about these things. And mind you, this is with the backdrop that all of these fools are somehow mostly directly connected to some super intelligent, supernatural, super intelligent, super duper thing that's somewhere out there in some form or fashion that they can't demonstrate at all because they're all full of fucking shit. Okay? So, this is what we got to deal with. None of these losers know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they put us in these positions of danger. Now, I will give credit to these fucking loonies who said, hey, you shouldn't do that. But the mere fact that we got to this point with all of these Trump predecessors engaging in the same behavior and nobody reining it in at all. Nobody talking about it, nobody bringing it up, nobody saying, hey, let's actually bring these fools up on charges for violating laws. Doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Even though we can do a quick Google search and find clear laws that were violated by the people who are supposed to uphold them the most. Okay, so let's get back to this article real quick. So check it out. So, Massey wrote on X, the Iran War Powers Resolution that I co-sponsor, opposing the war, just passed the House of Representatives. The People's House is sending a message in this war. White House responds to War Powers vote. The Trump administration has argued that the campaign against Iran is largely aimed at preventing Tehran from developing a nuclear weapon and countering what officials describe as escalating threats from Iranian forces and their regional proxies against Israel. It has also maintained that the president has the authority as commander-in-chief to act decisively to deter further aggression and protect U.S. interests and allies without prior congressional approval. But see, once again, that all sounds nice and cute and all, but you're still missing the fact that Obama put a deal in fucking place to begin with. They put a deal in place to begin with. There was already a deal in place. You are the fucker that sabotaged the deal. You feel what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me pull something up for you fuckers. Of course, we get hit with the fucking, we get hit with the paywall. But you see the title. You see the title, Trump abandons Iran nuclear deal he long scorned. And this is from May 8th, 2018. I just wanted to show y'all that. He is the one that abandoned the deal. Then he starts this war. What is the fucking point of doing that? Why was he doing that? What was the purpose of that? What was the benefit of that? What was gained from that? If you're going to sit here and say that you were trying to stop Iran from getting or Tehran from getting a nuke, then why did you sabotage the deal that was in place for that very fucking thing, you fucking crazy person? This is why we gotta have these conversations, y'all. Because what the fuck is the point of having a loony in office like this? When this is the type of shit that they do. And for fucking what? Why the hell is nobody questioning these psychos when they do this type of shit? So check it out. And this is actually hilarious because we just brought it up, and I'm glad this article mentions it. We talk about it. So check it out. The White House official told Newsweek that the House resolution will not reach the president's desk, and as a concurrent resolution would carry no legal force even if approved by the Senate. The official also questioned the vote's constitutionality, citing past rulings on legislative vetoes under the War Powers Act. In 1983, the Supreme Court struck down the legislative veto as unconstitutional. The court ruled that Congress cannot overturn executive branch actions through a resolution that has not passed both chambers and been presented to the president, reinforcing that lawmaking must follow the Constitution's requirements of bicameral passage and presidential approval. But what did we just talk about, right? We just looked at it. We just looked at the Constitution. The Constitution grants Congress war powers, not yo ass. Right? Like, this is what I don't know if y'all can see it. Maybe y'all can't read. Maybe y'all can't see. Maybe it's just too faded out for you. But it literally says the Constitution of the United States of America. We literally just looked at fucking Article 1, Section 8, that grants Congress the ability to declare war. Says it right there. To declare war. And it's talking about Congress. Let's be clear. Section 8. Article 1, Section 8. The Congress shall have power to, and then one of the things it says, to declare war. It does not say the president, it says Congress. But see, this is the gaslighting that we have to deal with as a society. That we have to deal with loonies who, obviously this fool has no clue about the law, right? Even though he's the president. He doesn't know shit about his own law. And now he's gaslighting the rest of society by saying, oh, well, because they didn't do what I want, Congress is violating the War Powers Act. Congress is the one that's violating the Constitution. And it's utterly unbelievable because we live in a society where people are so absurdly ignorant about the fucking goddamn Congress, about the Constitution, about the War Powers Act, about bills, about laws, everything. People are so ignorant to all this type of shit. And I'm not saying that's necessarily their fault because that's what lawyers are for. They literally study law. But see, the reason why this shit is so separated from everyday people is that these people who are in office, they make laws, they amend laws, and they do a lot of it unbeknownst to the population. And so they just willy-nilly just change shit. They fuck us over. They take away our rights. They violate our rights. They violate their own laws. They create new bullshit laws that they refuse to follow themselves but want to enforce on the rest of us. And then we're wondering why things are so fucking goddamn chaotic. Because this is exactly what we have to deal with as a society. We have to deal with these fucking loonies that do not deserve to be in office. This is why we say all the time that America is what I call a hyper-capitalist, plutocratic, oligarchical, conquistocratic, kleptocratic, gerontocratic, theocratic, idiocratic, craziocratic, techno-feudalist corporatocracy. A nation that is run by a small group of rich, old, goofy ass, unqualified ass, corrupt ass, imbecilic, thieving ass, conniving ass, stupid ass, crazy ass Jesus freaks who steal from us and gaslight us like they're helping us by using our money, by giving it to the rich, the banks, the corporations, and the churches, acting like that's somehow to our best fucking benefit in our best interest, despite the fact that all the data shows the exact opposite, that they're fucking us over, ruining everything, putting us in a position of extreme danger, and endangering even the mere existence of humanity itself by failing to help shore up the things that threaten our existence to begin with. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this topic of climate change, we still got to deal with all of these fucking bitch-ass goofies that are bought off by special interests, gaslighting us like, oh yeah, fucking climate change is a hoax, or it's not that big of a deal, or oh, it's just whatever. I guess if it becomes a problem, then the Lord is gonna something, whatever goofy-ass, retarded-ass bullshit that they want to say all day. That's why I can't fucking stand it when they come here and they say all this fucking stuff all day as if they have these great and wonderful ideas when they demonstrate on a regular basis that despite the fact that they're in the fucking goddamn White House, they are unfamiliar with their own goddamn Constitution. Which goes to show you why the system was flawed inherently. Because you have these sci-fi fantasy loonies who are completely disconnected from reality, who then get into these positions of power because the system is corrupt as fuck. These goofy ass rich people who stepped on all kinds of fucking people and ruined everybody's lives, get in the position so that they can continue to ruin everybody's lives for their own benefit. And then we wonder why we live in these suboptimal conditions all across the country, even though this is supposed to be the greatest country in the world, despite the fact that on so many different metrics, we are falling behind the rest of the world, particularly other first world countries, right? One of the things I show y'all all the time, and I'm going to show y'all right now, is what's called the Global Peace Index, in case you've never heard of it. It ranks all the countries in the world based on their level of peace. okay, using a bunch of different metrics. It's a composite index measuring the peacefulness of countries made up of 23 quantitative and qualitative indicators, each weighted on a scale of 1 to 5. The lower the score, the more peaceful the country, which means number 1 is the most peaceful country, and out of 163 countries, number 163 would be the least peaceful country, okay? And they base this on a bunch of different metrics that we can look at briefly, okay? But one of the things you can see is that the United States is not number 1 on this list, even though we're supposedly the greatest country in the world. I would think that the greatest country in the world would be at least one of the most peaceful. Maybe it might not be the most peaceful, but it would be among them. It would be at least in the top, let's just say 75, right? Like, it would be at least in the top half. And what you see is that the United States is like not that. You gotta scroll all the way to damn near the bottom to find us at 128, okay? So I don't know if you know this, but that's not great. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all have way different standards than I do. Maybe for y'all, being shit is the standard, in which case, oh, we're doing a fantastic fucking job. We're doing a fucking fantastic job at being near the fucking bottom in terms of the level of peace that we have to deal with, the level of peace that we experience as a society. Yeah, I mean, we're literally at war with another country that's trying to fucking develop nuclear material so that they can develop a nuclear bomb so that they can aim those bombs at us, even though we had the deal in place. We had the deal in place for them to not do that. We have a fucking goofy who was in office previously, right, during his first term, who sabotaged the deal for that very thing. And now he's acting like, oh, what he's doing now is so helpful. This is the type of shit that drives me fucking crazy. It makes me wonder how the fuck people can be so ridiculous in terms of not just their support for this guy, but their opposition to this guy, even though their opposition is what helped bring him in the first place, helped him get here in the first place. Because see, when Obama was doing it, they wasn't saying shit. When Obama was fucking shit up, violating the War Powers Act, these motherfuckers didn't say a fucking word. You don't hear anybody. When have you ever heard a single person in the media, especially on the left, anybody on the left talking about Obama violating the War Powers Act in the mainstream? In the mainstream. I'm not talking about a publication like Truth Out or some other publication that claims to be leftist that's lesser known. I'm talking about mainstream. CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, fucking Fox News, any of these fucks. When have they ever mentioned that type of shit? When do they ever even think about saying shit like that? They never do. Ever. Because they love this shit. That's why people are so confused. Because when people be looking at these mainstream news media companies and their bullshit ass content, you hardly get the fucking nuance such as that which I bring you. Which is why it's so hard for y'all to gain this type of information, because these people are never gonna just bring it to you. They're never just gonna tell you or show you, even though they have all the money, even though they have all the resources, even though they have all the ability, they have all the fucking like funding, they have the manpower, they got whole teams of people that develop all these talking points and these teleprompters, and they can just tell you and show you. They can probably show you all these wonderful visuals and 3D fucking renditions of data and what have you, but they don't. That's why I have to show you, because who else would? Right? So that's why I appreciate you coming through. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn on that notification bell, because we're here. It's just a goddamn shame that in 2026, we have barely even engaged in having these real discussions, because these people that get in the office are such miserable failures. They have been this whole time. And so when it comes to elections and stuff like that, we never have real conversations about what's actually going on. That's why I ask people, what exactly are you voting for? Because other than voting for this particular political party or that political party, most people don't know what the hell they're voting for. They think they're voting for these vague, like, principles or ideas that they claim to stand for, but they never really talk about how they actually hope that these things would actually get implemented if their favorite candidate and party got into the office in the first place. One of the reasons why your parties lose all the fucking time, the reason why the Democratic Party loses all the fucking time is because they're goofy as fuck. They don't stand on shit. All they care about is winning elections. They don't care about actual legislation. They don't care about pushing for any actual goal or aim. That's why they lose all the fucking time. That's why they hate it when we point this out to them. Because they know that they're full of shit. So that's why they have to engage in censorship. That's why they've had to censor me on social media so fucking much. Because they're full of shit. And they know it. Okay? We don't make up shit. We only go by facts, data, information, statistics, evidence. Not only that, but also lived experience. Because I've actually worked on different campaigns for different politicians here in Illinois and throughout the country. You know what I'm saying? So, check this out. So I found this other article, and it goes into exactly the type of shit that I be talking about. So this is from Politico, and it says Democrats are divided over failed Lebanon war powers resolution. Representative Rashida Tlaib introduced the measure to limit the Trump administration's authority in Lebanon, and House Democratic leadership opposed it. Now think about it. Think about how in liberal media you always hear non-stop condemnations about Trump all day, every single day. All day, every single day. I mean all day, every day, 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 every day, all day, all day, every day. I don't think I've gone a day when I didn't see some liberal saying, oh, Trump this, Trump that, oh, Trump this, Trump that. And mind you, I say this all the time. I'm not a Trump fan. In fact, I'm not a fan of the right wing at all. I am completely diametrically opposed to the right wing. I should say to conservatives. I think they're all crazy. I don't think a single one of them knows what the hell they're talking about. A broken clock is right twice a day, and that's about it. But I think their whole entire worldview is insane, crazy, delusional. That's why, a major reason why I'm an anti-theist, because that side is super duper super theist, right? Not every single one of them, but an overwhelming majority of them. They love them some Jesus, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So think about the fact that, despite the fact that Democrats are super duper anti-Trump all day, at least publicly, but when it comes to legislation, they're divided. What the fuck is that about? How are y'all divided? How does that even make sense? I thought y'all wanted to win. I thought y'all were all about, oh, Trump is so bad, the Republicans so bad. So what's the division? Maybe we'll find out in this article when we look through it. So, House Democratic leaders opposed a resolution offered by a member of their own caucus that would have limited the Trump administration's military options in Lebanon, showcasing long-simmering friction between top Democrats and progressives over conflict in the Middle East. Representative Rashida Tlaib forced, and forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, but I don't really care, forced a vote Thursday afternoon on the War Powers resolution to rein in the Trump administration in Lebanon, where Israel has attacked Hezbollah. The resolution, which would have forced U.S. troops out of Lebanon in 7 days, failed 91 to 324. Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair Greg Casar was among those backing Tlaib's effort, but in the joint statement, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York, Minority Whip Catherine Clark of Massachusetts, and Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar of California said the fact that there are currently no U.S. service members involved in combat operations or hostilities in Lebanon gave them pause. The three House Democratic leaders said they would work with Tlaib on new legislation to more effectively keep U.S. troops out of Lebanon, and that they stand with the Lebanese people, the government of Lebanon, and the Lebanese armed forces in their efforts to live peacefully and defeat Hezbollah. They added that they also oppose any effort by the Trump administration to entangle the United States in the war in Lebanon. All but one Republican opposed the measure within the party to... I'm still not understanding it. We didn't get any explanation at all. Why is there a division? What is the problem? Let me see if I can find another article that goes into more detail. Cause see, these are the issues that I have. Like, there's gotta be some kind of logic, some kind of reason there. Cause I'm still trying to figure it out. Paywall. And this is what we gotta go through. This is what we gotta go through. Maybe Truth Out might have something about it. See, now here's the thing, right? Even though I'm a big fan, huge fan of Truth Out, one of the reasons why I don't usually use them, which is ironic, probably, is because, like, they're very heavily leftist. Which, of course, I am a heavy leftist. But my big thing is about using mainstream news media to highlight their fucking bullshit. So, I just want to skim this and see if maybe they might explain in more detail why Democrats are split over this. Okay, so here's what it says. The U.S. government, meanwhile, has been working to pressure. Oh shit! Has been working to pressure the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah, pushing for the demilitarization of the one group that has the ability to defend the South from Israel's incursions. In February, the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on the Middle East held a hearing entirely focused on dismantling Hezbollah, with Democrats like Brad Sherman saying there is a historic opportunity to disarm Hezbollah in the wake of the genocide in Gaza, but this ignores realities in Lebanon. Beyond the fact that Hezbollah is the sole group with the capability of defending the South from Israel's occupation, disarming Hezbollah will likely lead to civil war in the country. Still, Democrats' widespread agreement with disarming Hezbollah might be a factor in their seeming opposition to Tlaib's resolution. In a statement to Axios, Tlaib said, "Poll after poll shows that the American people do not support our government sending a blank check and unlimited military assistance to the Israeli government as it massacres thousands of innocent civilians and demolishes entire cities and communities. Members of Congress should listen to them, particularly as Israel's campaign in Lebanon threatens to prolong the disastrous war with Iran." But top Democrats in the House Foreign Affairs, Armed Services, and Intelligence Committees are likely to vote no, which will likely sway other Democrats to vote no, which is what happened. So there's some insight there. So, of course, as usual, it goes back to this fucking Israel bullshit. And which means it goes back to the sci-fi fantasy ass bullshit. This Christian Jew sci-fi fantasy nonsense where they think they're the super duper special people. And so we have to stop the other people who think they're super duper special people. So that we can, I don't fucking know. I really don't understand. I don't get it. Why can't they just chill the fuck out and work together interdependently with synergy to work to create a well-functioning society for us all? Why are we beefing? Why are we at war? For what? Why do we need to disarm Hezbollah? For what? Now look, again, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a big fan of Hezbollah, right? Because what am I? An atheist and an anti-theist. What is Hezbollah? For those of you who are unaware, Hezbollah is a Lebanese Shia Islamist political party with an active paramilitary wing that has been banned by the Lebanese government since March 2026 amid Israel's war in Lebanon. So, I get the Israel part of, I get the Israel part of it, I get the Islam part of it, but see, here's the problem. You're the Christians, though. And my thing is, you're fucking all wrong. You Christians, you Jews, and I'm talking about religious theism, theology. Not to say this is racist against the race, right? And it's weird that you have a race that's also doubles as a religion. I don't get what that's about, but whatever. We're talking about specifically the theistic aspect of it, not the race aspect. So before you try to hit me with this anti-Semite bullshit, just know we are being clear. Not the people. The ideology. It's the ideology. The Christian, the Jew, the Islam, all that shit is a bunch of fucking cap. All of y'all need to knock it the fuck off. We don't discriminate. That's why when they try to hit us with the fucking Islamophobic shit, guilty as charged. Proud of it. I'm Islamophobic, I'm Jewophobic, I'm Christianophobic. I'm theismophobic. Theism is fucking garbage. I have no problem saying that, asserting that, purporting that, demonstrating that, shouting it from the rooftops every single day. Theists don't know what the hell they're fucking talking about. They never have. They never will. They're full of shit. Not a single theist on the face of the planet can ever demonstrate to sci-fi fantasy anything. If they could, they would. They don't because they can't. So this is why we are so against all of this fucking nonsense. Because it always comes back to this religious bullshit. And the thing about this religious bullshit is that it's bullshit. So I don't care if people want to say that I'm filled with hate. Because this ain't about hate. It's about demonstrate. If what you're saying is true, demonstrate it to us. And then this debate can go away. Because I'm done with debates. People have been having the religious debate for literally thousands of years. The time for debating is over. We have this thing called the scientific method now. We have actual methods and frameworks for truly understanding the substrate of reality as it is, not how you want it to be, not what some ancient sci-fi fantasy loony asserted it to be in some ancient comic book. No, we're talking about reality as it is, from based on our understanding of the laws of physics as it stands to date. We don't have a fully fleshed out understanding, which is why we need as many people as possible to help us build on our understanding. But instead, too many people around the fucking world, particularly here in America, want to actually do the opposite. They want to hinder our collective ability to understand. They want to confuse everybody. They want to pretend like they know what the hell they're talking about. They want to pretend like their ideas are the best ideas and the most amazing ideas, that we should respect their ideas, that we should subscribe to their ideas, that we should believe in their ideas, that we need to donate to their bullshit ass ideas, despite their inability to demonstrate that they're actually helping society in any way, shape, or form, let alone helping us to understand reality, helping us to understand the galaxy, the planet, the universe, the cosmos at all. They are doing nothing and they never do any such thing. But you know what they do on a constant basis? You know the one thing that they're super duper super consistent about? The one thing that we can say about theists, particularly Christians, is that they show us no end to their propensity to rape children, and pretty much anyone for that matter. And we see it every fucking day. The stories never end, they never stop, and they never will. Despite the fact that they claim that they have access to some supernatural, super intelligent, super duper thing that's supposedly so super fucking duper, and it has all these wonderful qualities, and it has all these wonderful, like, super amazing, like, you know, powers and moral ideas and what have you. It's a bunch of cap. This is the type of shit that we see on a constant basis. This is from Roy's report, which, as you can see, is a super duper Christian based website, where it says Bethel Church promises reforms, deplatforms 4 men accused of misconduct. Note the date, by the way. This is from yesterday by Anne Marie Shambaugh. Shambaugh. Now look at what it says. 4 months after suspending a top leader accused of sexual assault, Bethel Church announced several governance and cultural reforms, saying it will no longer platform 4 men accused of misconduct. The charismatic megachurch in Northern California provided the updates in the May 28 letter posted on its website. The 11,000-member church, known worldwide for its Bethel Music Worship Ministry, initiated a review of its governance and culture this year after several scandals prompted concerns about its operations and leadership. But see, why would that be the case if they have the Lord? Don't they have the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ or something? Doesn't the Lord purport all of these wonderful like moral ideas and codes and all that dumb shit that y'all be saying? So how could y'all even have this problem? How could this problem exist at all if y'all are walking in the faith and all that dumb shit y'all say? Perhaps there's very little value to your faith, because despite this faith stuff that y'all talk about, these stories are never ending. We see these stories all the time. I mean, think about this. Look at what it says. In February, the church suspended Ben Armstrong, overseer of its quote-unquote prophetic ministry, after a former student at the Bethel School of Supernatural fam. Fam. See, this is the type of shit that drives me fucking crazy. This is the type of shit where I'm like, theism is so fucking pretentious and full of shit that they actually have the fucking nerve to call themselves the Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry, and she claimed that he forced her into bed with him twice. So, I mean, if it's such a prophetic ministry, why couldn't Ben Armstrong, who was the overseer of the prophetic ministry, why couldn't he prophesy that she would bring up these charges against his retarded ass? Why couldn't he foresee that these kinds of fucking criminal charges would be levied against his stupid ass? Why is this so difficult for these fucking loonies to get it through their fucking heads? They don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, look at what it says. Previously, Armstrong had admitted to a moral failure with an unnamed intern. He was reinstated to ministry and praised for his honesty. I mean, Really? Fam, where's the Lord? I'm done with this type of fucking garbage ass bullshit. I am so sick of these failures. Where the fuck is the Lord, fam? Why is it so difficult for y'all to show us this Jesus stuff, right? Why is it that when I showed y'all Trump's list of 100 victories for people of faith, not one thing mentioned, oh, we stopped rape, we reduced the amount of rape in the church. Not one time, not one reference. I can show y'all the whole list. We can literally scroll through it all. Not one thing even mentions, even remotely even addresses the problem of rape in the church, despite the fact he got this ginormous list. And check this out. I just found this. I was not even looking for it. This shit is too easy to find, fam. We do this every day. Okay? Check it out. A religious community cut off from the world, and this is from People magazine. A religious community cut off from the world forced women into submission for decades inside New Zealand's Gloria Vale cult. The secretive religious group is the subject of the new Paramount Plus documentary, Devotion, Obedience or Betrayal. So, of course, it's a Christian community. Surprise, surprise. They've been compared to Gilead from The Handmaid's Tale, right? Yeah, that's a great fucking goddamn connection to have. You're connected to a group of people who subjugate women and violate them in all these different ways, and they made a whole TV show highlighting the fucking authoritarian, disgusting nature of these sci-fi fantasy fucking loonies who pretend like they're so super duper superly fucking duper. And all they demonstrate is their propensity for rape and abuse. That's about it. Okay, that's all they show us. Let me look at this shit. The Secretive Religious Cult was founded in 1969 by Neville Cooper, who later changed his name to Hopeful Christian. The group, which currently has around 600 members and lives communally on the property in New Zealand, follows strict patriarchal rules and has had a history of sexual abuse allegations. Oh yeah, and by the way, the wind blows here in Chicago. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you know this, but like space is like really, really big. Summers get really hot. Winter. Winter usually gets pretty fucking cold. Yeah, I know, right? You know, it's like, trees are green and brown, you know what I'm saying? The ocean is blue. You know, the sky is blue, you know what I mean? Like, we could say the most basic fucking shit that we can fucking say. Hey, did you know that A is the first letter of the English alphabet? Yeah, you probably didn't know that, did you? Yeah, you only have to be like a fucking first grader to fucking learn that shit. Yeah, in the same way, fucking religious groups are accused and have a history of sexual abuse allegations. Yeah, that's par for the fucking course. That's why I do what I do, because we do this every day. We always find that there's always a history. This has been their history. The whole entire history. Not just this fucking little fucking goddamn cult, but the whole of Christianity. The whole of Christianity. All different denominations. That's why we find these stories, multiple stories, nearly every single day. And when I don't do a day of lives, like yesterday, we only did like a little partial live. Right, so we didn't even get into the stories of yesterday. So now we got a backlog of stories from today and yesterday because they never stop. That's the problem that Christianity has. They talk about how they have this super duper super moral stuff, and yet they never demonstrate a single shred of anything at all. They're always being accused of rape. Right? I'm looking at this fucking goofy Russell Brand, right? Who I used to actually be a fan of, but now he's pushing this Christian garbage nonsense. And what do you know? He's been accused of rape multiple times. Why is it that that's always what happens with these sci-fi fantasy fucking loonies? They're always getting accused of rape. It's always them. Like, that's the thing that's so crazy about it. It's not like, oh, it's just a few bad apples here and there, and it just so happens that this one bad apple just so happened. No. This is par for the course. This is par for the course all the fucking time. We find so many stories on a regular basis because this is what they do. That's why I bring it up. That's why I get disgusted that so few other creators don't talk about it as much. Despite how constant these stories are always getting brought up. Right? Like, it just never ends. It never fucking ends. Look at this shit. And Notre Dame. Mind you, Notre Dame is a Catholic fucking school. Report. 2 former University of Notre Dame rectors sexually abused students. Right? It says right here. An independent report shows that two priests who oversaw University of Notre Dame Residence Hall sexually abused students during their tenure in the 1980s and 1990s, with both continuing their abuse in parish settings after leaving the school. The findings also highlight key issues recently named by the nation's Catholic bishops, such as gaps in communications, records management, and oversight that have continued to hamper safe environment efforts. The university announced the report in a May 28 press release, stating that an external investigation identified instances of sexual abuse and a predatory pattern of behavior by Holy Cross Father Thomas King, a member of the order that founded and operates the school. I mean, like, fam. I mean, we mentioned this the other day a couple times, but it's like, how could this be? How could this possibly be if the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is always keeping these people up to date, always talking to these people? These people have a direct connection. They have like a spiritual Wi-Fi connection to the Lord where they can just directly telepathically communicate with him with their spiritual Wi-Fi and figure out, Heavenly Father, how do we not rape kids? And then they like figure out how to not rape kids. Yeah, that doesn't happen. That doesn't ever happen at all. Every fucking day. Every single fucking day. New story after new story after new story after new story. New story, old story, a new old story, an old new story. Oh, this story, it was mentioned like 20 years ago, but now it's rearing its ugly head. Or, oh, this was a story that's been ongoing, but we had no idea until these revelations that revealed that this weirdo was engaging in weirdo-ass behavior. And blah, 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 on it goes. So this is what I'm talking about, fam. When we look at these stories, when we see all of these situations where children are being harmed, right? Every day, here in America, around the world, all being caused by the supposed leaders of Christianity, pastors, priests, deacons, bishops, clergy people, staff members, volunteers, teachers, coaches, or even celebrities, the people who are some of the most heralded people. They all get caught up in these fucking situations. Now, okay, let me not say all, but so many of them. So many of them get caught up in these situations. And the ones who don't, they don't have a solution. They can't produce a Jesus Christ to figure out how they can stop raping kids. They just can't do it. They can't stop raping kids, women, men, whoever the fuck they can get their hands on. Every single day these stories keep happening and nobody's talking about it. Where are the super duper super famous? Where's the Jordan Petersons and the fucking Donald Trumps and the fucking the Secretary of State and the Congress and, you know, the fucking the Speaker of the House? I mean, you know, Johnson. Where's any of these loonies? Hey, where's Nancy Guthrie? Y'all claim that y'all have a direct connection with the Lord, and y'all got all this. The Lord is this super omniscient creature, so it knows everything. So y'all have a direct Wi-Fi connection to the Lord. So why haven't y'all located Nancy Guthrie yet? She's been missing since February. It's June. Where's she at? Why ain't y'all been able to figure it out? Don't y'all have the answers? Don't y'all have the Lord? So if you have the Lord and the Lord got all the answers, that means y'all got all the answers because y'all are directly connected with the Lord, right? So why the fuck is this so difficult for y'all to figure this shit out? Why the fuck don't a single one of y'all have a single answer for any of these things? Why is it that when we ask y'all, when we demand that y'all show us the Lord that y'all are so obsessed with, y'all fail 100% of the time? It is currently 5:54 p.m. Central Standard Time on June the 5th, 2026 AD. And I can have 100 billion bajillion Christians up in this motherfucking chat. They'll all have all these different answers as to the current whereabouts of the Lord. If I ask them, hey, provide the exact current whereabouts, the exact coordinates of this super genius, super Lord, supernatural, Father, Son, Holy Spirit thing, or whatever the fuck y'all claim it to be. Zero. I repeat, 0.00000000000.0000000 to infinity% of Christians were producing these shred of actually useful information that we can verify independently via peer review. Oh, this information is accurate. They always bullshitting. They always mentioning bullshit, reporting bullshit. They're always like predicting that, oh, June 17th, 2026, the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is good. And every single time, 100% of the time, that day comes and goes, not a goddamn thing happens, and they look stupid as fuck. Every single fucking time. Every single time. Since the 1800s, they've been doing this shit. Oh, Jesus is coming back on some date because I had a dream. Yeah, I had a dream that the Lord was going to, like, find me or something. And they never have anything. I mean, literally never have anything ever. They have nothing of value they can offer, nothing of value that they can present at all ever. Not one time, not one single time. If they could, they wouldn't. This conversation would be over. I wouldn't be sitting here saying any of this stuff because they would have demonstrated that the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is actually real, is actually true, is actually useful, is actually helpful, is actually insightful, can actually help us figure things out that can help us improve our collective quality of life, to help us improve our communities, to help us improve the world, to help us in all these major world problems, that we can end all these problems like homelessness, drug abuse, psychological disorders, rape, incest, whatever the fuck problem you can think of, they should be able to solve it right now. They got the Super Jesus GPT app. They should be able to use it to come up with the best, most precise, useful fucking argument that they possibly can. They never do. They fail 100% of the time. That's why I do not respect their ideology. That's why I do not respect your position. Why should I respect bullshit? For what? Y'all have had so many thousands of years to demonstrate anything better than, well, can you prove it's not real? Can you prove it's... The fact that you even have to talk like that, the fact that you have to play these fucking mind games, the fact that you have to talk with such passion and candor, that you have to engage in every single possible logical fallacy you can to argue your sci-fi fantasy fucking bullshit, means that it's over for you. You have nothing. You have nothing of value that you can present that helps your case, that demonstrates that what you are saying makes any sense whatsoever. You can't show us anything. That's why I have a major problem with y'all. That's why I don't want to hear what y'all have to say to me about any of this stuff, because what you have to say is worthless. It's about what you can demonstrate. What can you show me? What can you actually demonstrate to me? Show me that your sci-fi fantasy thing is actually sensible and reasonable and logical and actually exists in real life. If the supernatural super intelligence is actually real, show us right now. Show us right now. Miss Mute the talk. I don't care what you have to say. You can be in the chat. You can say whatever. You can be in the comment section. You can say whatever. You can hit me in my DM. You can say whatever. You can call me on my phone. You can say whatever. You can text me and say whatever. I don't care. What can you demonstrate right now? Show us this stuff. You can say I'm ignorant. You know what? I'm ignorant as fuck. Show us the stuff. Oh, I'm so fucking stupid. Okay, I'm stupid. Show us the stuff. Oh, I'm being so ignorant and rude and so, oh my God. Okay, whatever. I'm a rude asshole. Show us that stuff. Oh, I'm so filled with hate. I'm so hateful. I'm a terrible person. I'm just, okay, okay, I'm filled with hate. Show us the stuff. Show us that stuff. Why is it that y'all got every excuse you got in the book? You can hit me with every adjective you can come up with. I'm filled with hate. I'm a hateful person. Oh, I'm so ignorant. I'm choosing not to seek him, even though every day I'm saying, hey, where the fuck is he at? But I'm choosing not to seek him because I'm not just saying that I already found him, because I'm just like not just gonna fucking be full of shit like you. Like, I don't understand how you can say that you claim that you found this thing, and when I ask, well, how can I find the thing? Show me the thing. You claim you found it, so help me find it, right? But, oh, nah, you good luck on your search. I don't need luck, because there's nothing there. There's nothing to look for. Y'all have demonstrated this unquestionably clearly. If y'all had anything of value to present, y'all would have done it. Y'all would do it. If you could show me the Lord right now, you really, really think I should subscribe to your sci-fi fantasy fucking bullshit, then you should be making a compelling case. The fact that y'all have nothing, I mean, literally, absolutely fucking nothing. All y'all have is an embarrassment of history, a disgusting history of embarrassment, a disgusting history of immoral, antisocial, disgusting fucking bullshit, on top of being inaccurate, on top of not knowing what the hell you're talking about, on top of harming so many different people, so many different groups of people for so long, all over the world, for literal millennia. Nowadays, in the modern age, you look crazy as fuck saying that goofy ass shit y'all be saying. I'm actually being nice right now saying this stuff, because honestly, y'all don't deserve any fucking respect at all for your ideology. That doesn't mean that I advocate for violence at all. I would never advocate violence. See, that's why I do what I do. I don't have to use violence. I don't need to lift a finger. I don't need to hit, punch, slap, kick, box, grab a weapon, or do nothing. I got the facts, the data, the information, the truth, the evidence, the logic, the reason, the fact-based evidence, the things that y'all lack, the things that y'all claim you have but fail to demonstrate ever. That's why all it takes is just a few basic questions, just a little bit of the Socratic method to have y'all look crazy as hell. Because if what you were saying was true, it should be not that difficult for you to demonstrate, especially considering that literally billions of y'all supposedly agree on this crazy shit, even though y'all don't. Y'all don't even agree on y'all own shit. That's why there's so many different denominations of this sci-fi fantasy fuck shit, because it's such bullshit that y'all can't even get it together at all. Zero of you have demonstrated that there's any value to this shit, and zero of you can demonstrate that there will ever be any value to this shit. All y'all demonstrate is that children are constantly getting raped, women are putting their children at risk for no fucking good reason whatsoever, and putting themselves at risk for no good reason whatsoever. For what? So they can, like, think that they feel good by believing this crazy shit? I'm sorry, but that's not good enough. That's not sufficient anymore. Okay, the placebo effect, we don't need that shit. We have this thing called medicine. You loonies could be helping us with that. Instead of wasting our time with your ancient sci-fi fantasy crazy shit, you could be studying modern day medicine and helping us find breakthroughs, find new cures, find new treatment methods, invent new tools to help us do that. But y'all are wasting our time with this ancient crazy shit. Y'all are literally standing in the way. Y'all are refusing to take inoculations, to give your kids inoculations. You're helping to spread all kinds of diseases that once used to not be a big deal. And now y'all want to act like y'all are being rational. You want to act like you're being reasonable while not demonstrating a single shred of value of your crazy ass ideas. If your ideas are true, you wouldn't be getting so emotional. You'd be able to show us right now that what you are saying makes sense, that it actually comports with the reality that we share and inhabit. I say this all the time. I don't have a need to be right. I have a need to be accurate, which is a subtle but important difference. I don't argue for the sake of arguing. I don't do this shit because, oh, it's fun or because I get a high out of it. I really actually seek the truth. And when you come at me bullshitting me, I'm going to call you out on it. If I don't think that you know what you're talking about, I'm going to challenge you, and I don't care how you feel about it. You can get mad. Get mad. Please get mad. Feel the rage inside of you. You're talking to the ultimate rage, so I would love for you to feel that rage. Feel it! But now that you felt it, demonstrate the shit that you was talking about. Demonstrate that shit you was talking about. I don't care about the shit that y'all say all day. I don't care about the shit that you read in your ancient sci-fi fantasy fairy tale booklet. Okay, I don't care about none of that. If it's real, show me in real life this real stuff that you say is so real. And once you show us that it's real, then show us how it can be of use. Show us how it can be actually helpful in these tangible, meaningful ways that you can demonstrate right now. And if you can't do that, shut the fuck up. That's all I ask y'all. If you can't demonstrate the value of the shit that you claim is the realest and truest, the most amazing shit, then shut your dumb ass the fuck up and move the fuck around with that shit. Ain't no point in coming at me with that shit, because you're never going to convince me with, well, I feel it in my heart and my mind and my soul. I really believe in, I really believe, I don't care. That's cool. That's cool. Get the fuck out of my face. Go on somewhere. You can be anywhere in the world. You don't have to be here. I'm not here to fucking have a debate with none of y'all. This ain't about debate. I know y'all want to debate because that's all y'all got. Because y'all don't have facts or information. Y'all have nothing. Y'all have no substance, no facts of any kind. So all y'all can do is try to debate and play these goofy ass mind games. But you can't play mind games with a person like me who is a thinker, who thinks about this shit all day, every fucking day. I'm all about thinking things through. You can't just hit me with some dumbass platitude and think that you're gonna get me. Hit me with a gotcha. Can you prove it's not real? Can I prove what ain't real? Something that you've never proven to be real? Yeah, I don't have to do that. You've done it for me. Your failure to produce a shred of anything of value of any kind. If you had the value, show us. One of the things I can't stand about theists is when they hit me with the, well, how am I supposed to show you? What kind of evidence would you accept? I'm like, what the fuck? That's not my job to do. You are the one making the assertion. You are the one making the claim. That means the burden of proof is on you to convince me. Right? If you're a salesman, if you're doing door-to-door sales, think about this. Think about going to somebody's house, trying to sell them insurance or some shit. And they say, nah, I'm good. You think you're going to win them over with, well, what do I have to show you so you'll buy this insurance plan from me? What do I have to show you? What is it that's going to get... You know what's going to convince them? They're going to call the police and tell you get the fuck off their property. That's what's going to convince them. Basically, you're not going to convince them. You move the fuck on. Once somebody shows you they are clearly not interested, unless you can sell a fucking water... If you can sell water to a well, you just give up. Just move on to the next person. It's not worth it unless you really got skills like that. Unless you actually got it like that, you're not selling this person. You're just not. And you likely to get yourself hurt playing this fucking game. Normal people hate fucking solicitors anyway. I don't want people showing up to my house trying to sell me some bullshit. You're not going to help matters by trying to start an argument with me, thinking that you're going to fucking debate me to buying your bullshit. Because that's not going to happen. It's counterintuitive. I know that you're passionate about what you're doing, but you're not compelling. You're not convincing. You're super whatever thing. It's bullshit. I'm not buying it. Move around with that. And you would think that with billions of Christians, that it would be the easiest thing to sell in the world. Because so many people subscribe to it, except for the fact that 0% of them can demonstrate a shred of what they're talking about. Every time we see tragedies happen, all they give is their thoughts and prayers and they move on. Even though they claim to have the supernatural super intelligence backing them and motivating them and all that, it never backs them and motivates them to come up with an actual effective and efficient solution of any kind to any issue ever in the history of the fucking world. Which is why issues that existed even when supposedly Jesus was alive still exist right now. Homelessness, hunger, child rape, child murder, infanticide, genocide, whatever side you can think of, it's always been the case. And it's still the case nowadays. And they can't figure any of it out, even though they have meetups every single fucking weekend. I mean, look, in 2 days it's going to be Sunday when a lot of them are going to have their sci-fi fantasy meetups. And one thing I am willing to bet my life is that they're not even going to even think about how they're going to solve any of these problems. Because they're not interested in solving any of these problems. They're not invested in solving any of these problems. Because for them, they benefit from these problems persisting. They need the world to be crazy so that stupids like y'all will continue to bankroll their crazy asses for no good reason whatsoever. Because you believe that they have some sort of super duper special power that they've never demonstrated ever. That's why I do what I do. So that y'all can stop it. Y'all can knock it the fuck off with that craziness. Because it's not helping. While all of y'all are in the church praying and singing songs and holding hands and doing all that dumb shit, kids are getting hurt every day. Women are getting hurt every day, all the time. And not a single Jesus freak has ever solved any of this shit at all. And I don't understand it. I don't get it. Why y'all haven't figured this out yet? This is not helping y'all case. It can't help your case. That's why y'all work so hard to try to stop me, because this shit makes y'all look so fucking bad. And y'all don't have an argument. Y'all don't have a position to say anything. Because while you can say I'm the devil and I'm of Satan and whatever the fuck, y'all are the ones that keep getting caught for rape, which is so crazy. Y'all are the ones that get caught every day. We pull up these stories every day. So I don't know how you're arguing with me and saying I'm the terrible, horrible, evil maniac, megalomaniac, and y'all are the ones that get caught every day raping kids, raping women, and failing to figure out a solution to stop y'all from engaging in this behavior. And before I get out of here, one of the things that I always show all the time is that the situation is so fucking bad that your own members are doing their damnedest to try to stop the nonsense, and they can't. Right? I show y'all this website all the time. It's called notinourchurch.com. Their mission, it says right here, our mission is to help churches become unattractive environments for predatory abusers by putting awareness, prevention, and healing resources in one place. We do the research and share the resources. But see, my thing is, why would y'all need to do that if y'all have the Lord? Why would you need to even think about helping churches become unattractive environments for predatory abusers if you have the ultimate super weapon who is super duper highly morally super duper, and he could just fucking not allow predatory abusers to enter the church at all? Y'all are the ones that says he's omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, which means that this website shouldn't even need to exist. The church should be the safest place in the fucking world. Yet this website, as it says, was written by somebody who says that she was a survivor of pastoral, emotional, and sexual abuse. Yes, her pastor, an elder of her church, and her boss was an abuser. Where was the Lord? Why is it that they never ever figure out where the Lord is at, right? She asked this question. So many elders, what does it say? So many churches of all denominations are impacted by abuse involving children, teens, and adults. So many pastors are not taking responsibility. So many elders are protecting the institution and not taking care of the sheep. She kept asking God, how can this happen? Why aren't churches prepared? Why aren't churches safe? We should be safe at church. I realized that our church has some safety measures for the children, but didn't have any prevention or protection for adults. No policies, no reporting procedures, no investigation procedures, no training, no plan to care for the abused, nothing. And that's when God supposedly impressed upon her heart to build a website, to do the research and gather information on awareness, prevention, and healing, and put it in one place so churches and survivors can use it. So here it is. But see, the problem that she failed to mention was that the church has all the resources necessary for them to do this themselves. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So why is it that a multi-trillion-dollar industry fails to use your resource that's supposed to help them? Matter of fact, why would you need to create this resource to help them if they have all the resources to do it themselves? Why is it that an atheist, an anti-theist is using your resource more than your people? You have 300,000 to 400,000 churches just in the first place. Why would you need to ask about how these things can happen and why aren't churches prepared? These are fucking great questions. If you have the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, how can this happen? Why aren't churches prepared? Why didn't you ask that question? These are the problems that I have with theists. And this is why I find it important to do a little bit of victim blaming. Because, see, the thing is that we as people need to take accountability for our mistakes, even if they're not necessarily our fault, okay? That's my big thing. Look, I used to be a Christian too. And while I've never been violated in that way, and I'm thankful that I haven't, like, so many people have. And it's that type of shit that made me leave the church in the first place. When I saw that passage in 1 Samuel 15 where it said the Lord is like kill babies, I couldn't do it. There's no getting around it. I can't think of a justifiable reason to kill a baby. If it was a super duper last minute resort, if I was Anne Frank and I was in the fucking attic and the Gestapo is fucking literally like the SS Army is literally storming the house and looking for us, and I got this baby in my hand and she's literally like about to make a noise to alert the SS Army to our position, and I gotta do something, let's just say bad. I gotta do something bad to prevent her from making that noise. Even then, that is an extreme situation, and while I still wouldn't say that it's a good thing, at least I can understand it. But no, your first instinct is to say, go over there and harm those children. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Why would I be a member of something that's that immoral, that would literally ever say that for any reason? And when Christians hit me with the, oh, you're taking it out of the context, it doesn't matter. And this is the part that y'all don't want to understand. The context doesn't fucking matter. There is no context where this type of behavior should be acceptable. In the same way, for the church, you would think that at some point they would have decided, yeah, this type of behavior is unacceptable. Let's protect our flock. They don't. These stories are so common. Like I said, they're every day. I do this every day. I don't need to fucking worry about whether or not I'm going to find stories about this stuff, because these people are so all over this type of behavior that every day we will find so many new stories. Not to mention, there's all kind of stories we could go back, right? Because we don't cover every story. Like say for instance, right? One of the things I know is that this Roy's Report website, when I look for these articles, sometimes some of their articles come up, but they're from months ago, right? I found a couple of passages, or should I say articles, from like March of the same kind of stuff that I didn't cover at that time. And we could do that if we wanted to go back and look for stories from the recent past. We ain't even got to go back far. We're talking about like from a few months ago, last year, 2 years ago. There's an endless treasure trove of these stories. Not to mention that every passing day are more and more and more of these stories. And through it all, not a single Jesus Christ anywhere to be fucking found at all. No Father, no Son, no Holy Spirit, just a bunch of fucking rape, incest, fucking crime, immorality, unethicalness, whatever you want to call it. So at the end of the day, what is it for? What is this all for? What is this church shit for? Why is it important for churches to exist? Oh, they provide community. You know what also provides community? Communities. I know, crazy, right? Actual communities like the ones we already fucking live in. What the hell do they actually provide, though? Oh, y'all get to come together and act crazy as fuck together? Yeah, not a good use of your time and your energy and resources. Okay? Because ultimately, what does it do other than provide a place for predators to hide and be protected? That's why I'm an anti-theist and an atheist. That's why I'm an atheist and an anti-theist. Because there's no value to any of this. There's no point to any of this. There's no end goal to any of this other than just extracting resources from our community so they can hoard it and use it to protect rapists. That's about it. To help charlatans and scam artists get rich. To help rapists get away with rape. And to misinform everybody on pretty much every topic that exists. So forgive me if I don't respect the sci-fi fantasy craziness because they failed miserably to demonstrate what the hell they're talking about. Like I said, this website is made by Christians. It is made by a Christian to help Christians, and yet it does more work to help us atheists and anti-theists than it does Christians. Because Christians don't even use it. They don't know it exists. They don't care it exists. This issue of child rape and incest and just rape in general is not a topic that they're even the least bit interested in, which is why they never talk about it, which is why it takes these type of stories that we talk about for us to bring awareness to it, because otherwise, shh, they hiding the stories, they covering up the stories, they protecting the abusers. And that's been par for the course for a long time. So that's why we are not standing for this shit any longer. That's why this shit's got to end. Because it's not helping society. That's why I am an anti-theist. Because theism is wrong. Theism is the greatest rape culture in the history of humanity. It is the greatest, longest running sci-fi fantasy MLM scam in the history of humanity. If that is not true, then please provide me with the data to the contrary, because as far as I'm concerned, we have way too much information to show y'all that the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is full of shit. Doesn't exist. Nowhere to be found. Has no value, has no use other than scamming goofies and ignorant people all over the fucking country, all over the world. Unless you can show me that there is a Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, unless you can show me that there's a triune, triumvirate, triforce thing, or some supernatural, whatever the fuck y'all be talking about, unless you can provide a method that literally demonstrates what the hell you're talking about, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of my face. Move the fuck around somewhere. Alright? Now, if somebody like you, if you fuck with what I'm talking about, cool. Make sure you hit that like, hit the subscribe, turn on the notification bell, come through to off9.com and join the fucking Discord. And join the community of sensible, reasonable people who actually want to push humanity forward. Who doesn't want to subscribe to the sci-fi fantasy craziness. Who doesn't want to subscribe to pseudo-intellectual, anti-intellectual, pseudo-scientific, anti-scientific fucking bullshit at all. Who actually care about the facts, the data, the truth, the information, who actually cares about the state of humanity, the state of American society, who wants to help improve our collective quality of life, to push us toward higher heights, such as becoming a Kardashev Type 1 civilization, and why this is actually important. Come through, hit off9.com, come through to the Discord. We finna watch the NBA Finals tonight, so holla at your motherfucking boy, man. So, thank you for coming through. Stay smooth. If I don't see y'all, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stop being bitch ass simps for these narco psychos, these psychopathic narcissists, these narcissistic psychopaths. Okay? Stand on your own too. Have some self-respect and some self-love. Because if you don't love yourself, ain't nobody else gonna do it. Well, maybe except me, because I do this because I love you. Right? But on some real shit, stop being a simp, stop being a pick-me, and have your own self to love first. You need you. You need you. And we need each other. Alright? So, let's bring some sense to this crazy ass world once and for all. And make everything awesome by pushing humanity towards becoming the Kardashev Type 1 civilization and beyond. Alright? So, enjoy the rest of your day. If I don't see you, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to try to do a live tomorrow, so come through, holla at your motherfucking boy, man. Peace the fuck out.